What's going on, everyone? Tech Me Out here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at what is in my camera backpack. So these are the items that I typically take on me when I go out and I'm recording, and this is also the backpack that I generally have on me. However, if I want to go with a lighter setup, I have an alternative for that, which I will be showing you as well. But for starters, let's talk about this setup right here. So as far as the book bag is concerned, this is known as the Everyday Backpack by Peak Design, and I gotta say, they definitely delivered a solid option right here. So there are a ton of things that I love about this, and I'm gonna do my best to keep it short and sweet and provide you with the link down below so you can check it out as well. But ultimately, first taking a look at the material on it, it has a waterproof canvas design that's offered, I think, in like 2 color options. This one I want to say is the charcoal gray. It has these brown leather accents where you can grab the book bag from the top or from the side if you so wanted to. It also has this area on the back of the bag, so it is suitcase friendly in the event you want to kind of attach it to one and keep your items together when you're not going to be wearing this. The other thing that I really like about it is that on the front of it, it has this MagSafe latch. So this is something I haven't really seen on any other backpack. But the nice thing about this locking method is that it's one-handed friendly. So you can easily come in here and pull down on it as necessary and get into the bag without any issues. And the same process to pull down on it and lock it. It has a magnet built into it, which is gonna help it latch onto one of those little notches that you just saw. Now, to me, one of the main features about this bag that just really caught my attention as to why I even wanted it is the fact that it has these dual side loading pockets right here. So this is really handy when you're out and about and you need to grab something in the bag. Instead of taking the backpack off, you can actually flip it around in front of you and open it from either the top or the bottom and easily grab what you need without ever taking off your backpack. And to me, that's really major because there are times where I'm out and I'm recording and it's not convenient for me to take the backpack off. So the fact that I can easily just whip it around on either side and get what I need, that is a nice little setup for me. But I think that's enough about the bag. Let's talk about the contents inside of it. So let's go with this side here. So as you can see in here, I actually have these little folds, and these folds are removable, which helps in the area of organizing things. And the folds are very versatile because they allow you to separate the contents from the left side of the bag to the right side, or if I want to be able to access the same thing on both sides, I can do that. So starting down here at the bottom, I have my little pistol grip. I like to use this with my vlogging camera, which is in here. So this pouch right here is made by a company known as Wolffangs, and it's designed to hold your camera lenses. But not only do I let it hold my camera lens, I also let it hold my vlogging camera. And that's because, one, it has on the inside this very nice kind of like microfiber suede-like material. So this is really good in terms of protection. And plus it can serve as a cleaning cloth. So when I need to clean my screen, I have an option right here to do so. The camera that I sometimes use to vlog with is the Sony RX100 Mark V. It's a decent camera. The only thing that really bothers me about it is the battery life. It's nowhere near what I would want it to be, especially if I start recording in 4K. I do love the fact that you can actually flip up the screen and be able to see yourself, which is an advantage over vlogging with something like the Sony a6500 or Sony a6300. I'm still on the fence about what I'm gonna do with this, so I guess I'll keep you updated when I decide. Now, moving to this middle section, I have a polarizer by Tiffin that I recently purchased. I can't really speak to this. I just know that it's supposed to reduce glare and things like that when you're shooting in areas like outside and such, but I'm still learning, I think, the proper way to use it. I don't think this is one of those items that you mount on the lens and go. I think it's a special way you're supposed to use it, so I'm still figuring out that little formula there. In addition to the polarizer, I also have these ND filters. These are actually the cheap ND filters, the ones that come with your camera lens when you buy them sometimes, and they have those little bundles. These were some ND filters that were included in the bundle. I haven't upgraded them or anything like that, but they do a fairly decent job for the time being until I do. So this here is another item by Wolffangs, and this is actually where I keep all of my batteries. So the neat thing that they did here that is so simple and yet so genius is that on one side it's green to signify the batteries that are charged up, and then on the opposite side it's red to signify the batteries that are dead and you need to charge up. So like I said, I shoot with the Sony a65 and a6300, and if you don't know much about these cameras, let me just tell you, the batteries on them suck. They're terrible. So you find all these little hacks and things to do, but what I've done thus far is pretty much carry about maybe 6 or 7 batteries on me. It all depends on how long I'm gonna be shooting when I go out, but I carry quite a few batteries on me, and they tend to last for the duration that I'm out and recording. So this is where I keep them at. Now, the items that were in the top of the bag on the side, I can access it from the side, or I can pull down on this little latch here and access it from the top of the bag. But what I tend to keep in this area is the camera in which I'm shooting with for that day. So right now I'm using it though, so I can't show you, but typically that is where it lives, right in this section here. I also tend to carry at least 1 to 2 other lenses with me. And generally when I'm carrying lenses on me, it's one of 3. So it's either the Sigma 18 to 35, which is actually what I'm shooting with right now, or it's my Sony 10 to 18 lens, which is really great for wide angle shots. It does have an f-stop of f.4, which I wish was lower, but it gets the job done. That's what I tend to use when I want to go wide. And then the next lens I have is the Sony 85mm telephoto lens. Now this lens is like gorgeous when you have a need for it. So it's like a portrait lens, but it lets you shoot very far away from your subject. So typically if I have this on my camera, and this is my camera here, the product cannot be this close. If it's this close, it pretty much kind of looks like a macro shot if it can focus at all. So generally whatever I'm shooting is better suited to be across the room. That's when I find this most advantageous. But when it's in use, it gets a very, very beautiful shot. I mean, the bokeh on this thing is like perfect. So I really like this lens here. Out of these 3 lenses, the most versatile one is the 18 to 35. That's what I use about probably 90% of the time. So if you're ever wondering what I'm shooting with, that is pretty much the setup there. Now, something really stealth about the bag is that on the top side here, it actually has an area where you can store important documents, your phone, or in my case, my AirPods. So not only is it easy to access, but it also blends in right with the bag. So if you kind of want to hide your items a little bit, this is probably one of the best places in the bag to do it. It magnetically closes, so you don't have to worry about it ever opening by accident or anything like that. Also, another item that I typically have in my bag when I go out and record is the camera in which I'm actually using, the Sony a6500. And it typically sits at the top of my bag here with my small HD 501 monitor. I absolutely love this monitor. I sat on the idea of purchasing it for the longest because of the price, but when I got it, I'm so glad that I finally made that investment because it is worth it. There's so much you can do with it, from monitoring to make sure things are in focus, to seeing how your LUTs look, and all these other features to get the best picture possible from your camera. Now, when I'm using my camera, I typically sit it on a monopod from Seru, I believe is how you pronounce their name. But ever since I've started using this monopod, I found that I grab my tripod even less. And the main reason for that is because this is just easier to transport. So instead of having, you know, the large tripod legs, I just have this one stick, so to speak, to worry about. And the feet at the bottom are so sturdy and wide that it will actually allow the monopod to stand on its own. Now, if I happen to forget anything, I'm gonna be listing everything down below in the description box, so you can find all of my gear down there. Now in this top section here, this is where I store my MacBook Pro. So that's what I edit off of, the 15-inch MacBook Pro 2016 version with Touch Bar. And then in this area, I also store my 10.5-inch iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil, smart keyboard, and case. So between these 2 items here, I can pretty much get everything done. And I just love having that portable setup. And when I'm home and I need a bigger desktop-like setup, I just dock it to my monitor, which I'll be featuring in a near future video because I am finally gonna do my desk setup tour. And I'm excited about showing you all how everything will come together. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do, because that is in the works. Now in the same section where I have my iPad and my MacBook, I also have another little top pocket here, which I typically will put the phones in that I'm reviewing. Now I did skip somehow over 2 areas in my bag, and that is the side panels right here. So on the left and right side, you have these little side panels with side pockets. And this is where I store a few additional things. So I have my little SD card holder here by Wolf Fangs. I keep them in here. Once again, you got that green and red style going on. However, if I didn't have that on me, these little slots up here at the top can also hold your SD cards. In addition to that, I also have this little gray card when I want a white balance, I guess in a more professional way. I also have this Samsung 1TB SSD reader. It reads and writes pretty fast, so oftentimes I'll store videos up here or even edit off of this, but I like to carry this in the event that I'm running low on space on my computer. And one thing you absolutely can't forget, that I still sometimes manage to forget, is this USB-C hub by Saatchi. I love it because it has USB 3.0 ports and an SD card reader, and it sits flushed with my laptop, so I don't have to worry about it dangling from my laptop. And that's really all I have in that side pocket. And then on the other side, what I have here, the pocket layout on this side is a little bit different, so I tend to store larger items on this side, such as my portable battery pack right here. Believe it or not, I actually mount this to my camera. So how how I do that is I have these little fasteners on the battery pack, and I have fasteners on the side of my camera or my camera cage, and I just snap this on it when I need it. And it's so convenient and so useful. It actually extends my recording times tremendously, because normally the battery would die, and if I'm ever in a pinch and I don't want to have to shift through batteries, then this is what I'll slap on my camera. And plus it almost serves as like a little handle when you're recording to kind of stabilize your shot a little bit when you're going handheld. So I really like that about this. It's ready when I need it, and I'll just use it for my other devices when I don't need it for my camera. Now, in addition to that battery pack, I do have two others which are dedicated for the phones or devices in which I have on me. So these two items are made by Ventiv, but one has a built-in lightning cable, the other has a built-in USB-C cable. That way I don't have to carry extra cables on me to charge my devices up. I can use these instead, and it has this little LED so that I can see how much battery life I have remaining on the battery pack. But generally this setup gets the job done. So I feel like this video is just a little bit longer than I originally anticipated that it would be. So if you are interested in seeing my setup when I go lighter than this, the bag that I carry and what I carry in it, let me know by hitting that like button and commenting down in the comment section, and I'll get that video going. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed it, let me know. You already know how. Like button, subscribe, comment, and as always, thanks for taking the time out to let me tech you out.